Andor Season 1 has a reported budget of $250 million, making it Star Wars' most expensive Disney Plus series yet. Comparison numbers and details. So first of all, I can't believe that the Andor series cost $250 million. There's no way that they've actually been able to make that money back through the Andor series, especially with how much people fell off the bandwagon. After Obi-Wan Kenobi and after the Book of Boba Fett, a lot of people, a lot of viewers, a lot of the audience just said, nah, all right, I'm out. And there were a lot of people that were saying that Andor is better than Obi-Wan, than Book of Boba Fett, than The Mandalorian. It's got better stories, it's got better characters. Now, I personally disagree, and I think you guys know that I disagree with how good Andor is. Because to me, it was boring, it was slow. I don't need to have lightsabers and force users in everything I watch when it comes to Star Wars, despite the fact that that is basically what Star Wars is. But there were a lot of story threads that weren't completed. There was a lot of things that just didn't make sense. There was a lot of elements, a lot of character motivations and things that just didn't actually add up and make sense in the end. And again, you can go back and you can rewatch some of my reviews to the episodes and things like that. I'm not going to get into all of them. You've got things like the 80 million credits. You've got things like the escape of the prison. You've got things like Val and Luthen and how they interact that doesn't make any sense. You've got Mon Mothma that they completely fucked over. And no Bail Organa, which I completely fucking hate. But the fact that this cost $250 million, this is more expensive than Rogue One. They say that the budget for The Mandalorian is around $100 million, $12 to $15 million per episode. Let's see what else we've got in here that it talks about. The budget for Obi-Wan Kenobi, $25 million an episode. I mean, fuck. Let me just do something really quickly. How many episodes of Andor was there? There was 12, right? Well, it's only $20 million an episode compared to the $25 million an episode it was for Kenobi. But Kenobi was a shorter series. It had less episodes. Skeleton Crew has a budget reported of $136 million. $250 million budget for Andor. I mean, I know that they were out on site. I know that they were out on, actual sets. But that's a massive budget for a show that I don't know how on Disney Plus they're making that $250 million back, especially out of a show that was completely like the audience completely fell off a cliff. That blows my mind. It blows my mind that they're spending this kind of money on a show like this. I mean, that's got to be a failure. That's got to be a flop, right? It's got to be the same as Solo lost money. Andor Season 1 lost money, especially with the numbers. Didn't they lose 4 million subscribers or something like that over on Disney Plus as well? And I wonder how much Season 2 is going to cost with all the inflation and stuff that's happened in that time. What, are we looking at a $300 million budget for Andor Season 2? I mean, even if, let's say, they match this budget, you're talking $500 million for 2 seasons that go for 24 episodes total. I mean, back in the day, 24 episodes was 1 season. You look at something like Stargate SG-1. You've got roughly 25 episodes a season, running for 10 seasons. And I can guarantee you, not one of those seasons is probably the highest budget that they probably would have had on one of those seasons was probably around $100 million. And I know that that was back in, the 90s and stuff like that. But fucking hell, still, at least that had fucking good storytelling. This is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. And I can't believe they actually spent that kind of money on a show like this. Where does the money go? Obviously, they got to pay all the actors. Yeah, fair enough. But like, I don't think there were some overly massive sets or anything like that. Probably the biggest set was the prison that they were working in. And apparently they didn't use any of the volume because you can't use practical sets and the volume, otherwise it looks too jarring. Why? Because the volume is that shit? Because to me, everything that is filmed in the volume has been absolute crap. You can see it. You can see how bad it is. Anyway, I couldn't believe that the season 1 of Andor cost as much as it cost. It's wow. Wow.